Okay, just got that notification. So thank you very much, Josh, and thank you all for hopping on. This call this morning. Definitely want this to be a discussion. So the last group, they had a bunch of great questions. I totally expect the same. You guys have been fantastic along this process. So you don't hesitate. If you have a comment or again a question, just unmute yourself or you can throw it in the chat. We definitely want to make sure that you guys
I'm
are
jumping
heard.
right now. Oh, okay, there. Yeah, got it. Thank
So I guess with that, where I wanted to start was just kind of giving you guys an overview of how this all works, like how we get the data from the suppliers to your portal. So I'll go ahead and present my screen and then we can get going there. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yep, we can see it.
Perfect. Okay. So we kind of break it up into three different options or lanes for the suppliers. This first one here is what we call our direct integration. So what we do is we install our Hull Hub adapter at each of the plants who's going to be supplying material to one of your projects. And then once we start to get the first inklings or first examples of that ticket data, we go through a validation period. And that's just, where we make sure that the e-ticket, all those ticketed fields align with the physical ticket one-to-one. And then once that's all set, we make sure that that team has access to their e-ticketing portal called Supplier CI. And we really focus the training efforts on just honing in on the calibration. And so that's the term that we use just to communicate where they're aligning the project as it's named in their system. So like let's say H.123 to the corresponding project in your portal. And once that connection is established, the data is going to flow from their system through ours to your portal. And then at that point, you guys will have access to those e-tickets. And then in option two, that scenario is where like it may be a bit of a larger company and they may have an internal IT team. So in that case, we can provide that IT team an API where they can, do the work as far as those ticketed fields that would all live with their team in that section. But once they give us the green light, like, they have all the ticketed fields in order and they're sending us the data, just like in option one, we make sure that they have access to their e-ticketing portal and understand calibration as well. And then lastly, in option three, this is a scenario where a company may have an existing e-ticketing vendor already in place. An example of that being FleetWatcher. We share, a number of customers with FleetWatcher all over the US. And then in that case, similar to option two, we just provide FleetWatcher the API key. They do the work with their customer as far as getting those ticketed fields in order. But just like in option two, right? Once that's all set, we loop back, we get them trained and making sure they understand, calibration. I did want to point out that all three options are of no charge to the suppliers and for the contractors for that matter. They too have an e-ticketing portal, so they're a part of this process as well. And again, there's no expense or no cost to them to start to join us on this journey for e-ticketing. I'll take a quick pause there. Any questions on that? Okay, so the reason I like, oh, hold on one second, everybody. I did see a question. Sorry about that. I'm hitting random buttons in the chat. Let me get back there. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so from Francis, for the group, is there a truck driver's app so that they could be tracked in real time? I'm very glad you brought that up, Francis, because another one of your team members, his name is escaping me. I want to make sure that I give him a shout out because he was fantastic. Clifford. He also looped back with me on that question. So let's do this. Let me move over to the mobile portion and we can talk about that too, as far as like what all is included there. Okay, so to your question specifically, no, there's no GPS tracking in relation to your portal. We do have another product that companies can use, like suppliers, for example, where their haulers would have a carrier app, and that is bound by GPS, but that in no way is tied to your portal. With that being said, we do have some logistics insights baked into your portal all built upon the ticket data. So I'll get to those in a few minutes, but that is a fantastic question. Okay. So hopefully that helps in the short term. And again, in a few minutes, I'll show you what that looks like within the reports. But I'll take a quick pause. Does that all make sense, Francis?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Okay, so then this is your portal on mobile. There also is a web portal that you guys have access to. Okay. And then so by default, when you first log in, if you haven't already done so, you'll be taken to your Today tab. That's kind of like your home base, okay? And then so what we're looking at here are the two project windows that have ticket data on the time range we're filtered by, which is today. So that's going to be selected by default as well. What would like to highlight for you guys are just two different chip filters. So scrolling all the way to the right, let me just unlock my phone again. There we go. So scrolling all the way to the right, we have our custom time range chip filter. I like to share this with groups because I think this is handy, like in cases of a night job, or really anytime a project takes place out of like your normal production window. You can use these sliders to hone in on that time frame, and then once you hit apply, the projects are going to reflect the tickets received in your portal in that time frame you set. So now, like we have additional tonnage on that Highway 95 project versus when we were, focused on the today time range chip filter, and they're also seeing an additional project in that window as well. Another one I wanted to highlight for you guys is back on the left, the idle chip filter. This is brand new for us. What this does is it allows us to provide some previously exclusive Today tab insights to historical project data, because before it was two separate environments. So if you notice, there's the Today tab. Again, you're brought here by default. And then in the bottom right, we have My Projects. That tab, My Projects, is dedicated to housing the historical ticket data. But again, now I would suggest you guys use this idle chip filter when viewing historical data, because it's going to give you the best of both worlds. So I'll do this. Let me click back on today. So we're focusing on the now data, and then we'll click into the project. Before I do that, I just wanted to make sure you guys saw this as well, right? Just high level information from the project card itself. So the name of the project, and I'm in our demo DOT, by the way. So if you see like, interesting names or that kind of deal on the tickets, that's why. The total quantity in the bottom left. And then this graph is just giving you an indication of, when the material was received within the different, hours. So then to view the tickets, we just click that project. And now we're into that different section. These little bubbles up top, we call them our quick access bubbles. They're just designed to make it as easy as possible for you guys to navigate to the various modules that are baked into your portal at the project level. The count you're seeing, or the number you're seeing inside, is that like the number of tickets, for example. So we have 31 tickets. And then the reason it has that orange quick access ring is because it's now data. So tickets received within the last 24 hours. So kind of going over to the right, we have 133 photos in this project, none of which were received in the last 24 hours. That's why there's no ring around it. Kind of going back down, these are our ticket cards. Similar to that project view, again, kind of like a zoomed out view, high level overview of the ticketed information. So in the top left, we have the ticket number, and the center, the load count, the daily total. And these two are referring to this specific product, by the way. So we're going to break that out as well. And then there's the date and timestamp, the hauling company, and then the vehicle ID. There's that ticketed quantity along with that product description. And then this pending that you're seeing over here is communicating the status of the ticket. So kind of circling back, right? When we talked about how we get the data from the supplier's systems to ours, then to your portal. So once they print that physical ticket, within a few minutes, the e-ticket should hit our system. And then, of course, after the calibrator of the project, you guys should also get that within that 3 to 5 minute window. And the ticket is going to live in that pending status until somebody within your portal, changes it, makes an update, like marking it as delivered or rejected. So we'll do that now, actually, together. So we'll mark this ticket, load number 2, delivered, just clicking that bottom left, purple bold button there. And because we have pay items associated with this project, that's why it's going to bring up this section for me now. But let's say we didn't have pay items associated with a project. Then it would just be as easy as hitting confirm delivery. We're met with that success notification, letting us know we've successfully, marked this ticket as delivered. Then we'll hit OK. And then it's automatically going to take us back to the tickets and the remaining pending status. I'll do another one just in case so you can see what that workflow looks like with pay items. This came up during our previous session as well. That's why I wanted to highlight this because someone posed the question, like what do we do in a case where we're going to accept a portion of the load and then reject or not pay for the remainder of that load? So here's how you can handle that. So up top, you'll notice we have, we're giving you that overview or insight into the ticket number and the ticketed quantity. And then by default, we're going to have this do not pay button here. So what you can do is you can select do not pay as one of the pay items, and then the other pay item for the, the one your portion you're going to pay for. And then it's just as easy as keying in those quantities. So like out of the 23 tons, let's say we're not going to pay for 13 of those because we're going to reject it. And then we're going to pay for the remaining 10.31 tons. We can also add a note in the section here just to communicate to the team, why we're making this decision. And then once that's all set, we hit confirm delivery. We're back to that success notification. And then once we hit OK, same deal, right? We're back to those tickets in the pending status. I'll take another pause there. Any other questions or comments? Okay, cool. We have another one in the chat. So for the group from Melvin, is there a way to download in PDF the information to be added into an inspector's diary? Ooh, I like that one, Melvin. So yes, there is a few ways that you can download these tickets, and there's also reports that we can automate for you guys, and they can be customized. But quick pause. So a bit of an audible here. From what I understand that you guys are a headlight company. And then I also manage Louisiana DOTD, which also uses Headlight. So what we have in place with them is we're taking advantage of our new AI reporting features. We're just modeling, like via the AI context, some existing like daily work reports, some forms that they have in place that the inspectors are, tasked with completing on a daily basis, and then pulling that automatically from the ticket information and then summarizing it so they can copy and paste it into their daily diary or work report. So that would be the goal with you guys as well. So if you have an example of a form or like a process that you're currently completing, like in Headlight or another system that we can start to model in the AI just to make it more efficient for you guys, please share it because we definitely want to do that. Does that help, Melvin?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And then and when we go to web, keep me honest here, Melvin. If I forget, just remind me about the PDF version because I'll show you how to do that as well. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so back to the tickets. I showed you how to mark it delivered in a few different ways. Let me make sure I show you this as well, how to reject a load. Okay, so that's found under more actions. I'll click there. Notice we have a few different options here. We can mark it delivered if needed. There's rejected. Let me make sure that goes away. You guys can see that. There we go. So you can mark it rejected. You can add a flag, which is kind of another way to stick a pin in a ticket so the whole group can start to pay attention to it, and you can notate the reason why. You'll notice too, you have an edit section on the notes. We'll get to the notes next, but that's how you can go back and review or revise those inputs. And then we'll hold off on talking about samples for this call. We'll wait till a future one where once you guys have had some experience kind of on the, the fundamentals of your portal. But we'll mark this as rejected now. I'll just tap there. It's automatically going to bring up a box for me to input the reason why I'm rejecting the load. So I'll just do load, course, hit reject. Same thing when we marked it as delivered, right? We get that notification. We're back to the list of tickets in the pending status. While we're here, I did want to show you guys the note section. So again, we have that dedicated hotkey to take you to notes, and this can be customized. So we have some fields already available by default. And the top right, this add fields button, that's going to take you to the full list of fields available for you guys. And then it's just as easy as toggling on or off, any of the fields you want to see or don't want to see, right? And then we hit save. That's updated, and now it's going to reflect those changes. And this is all per user, by the way. So like each person can have their own experience with these fields in the inspector notes section. So I'll enter a plant temp just so we can see that later too. Let's say it's really hot. Okay. I'll take another pause. Any other questions?
I just wanted to double check. Is the contractor part of this group?
Meaning the training?
Getting the updates. No, getting the updates with the tag. Like for example, if we decide to reject the tag, or if there's a dispute with the tag, can the contractor contest that on here?
You guys are ahead of the game. This is awesome. So great call out. Yes. So they too have visibility on the updates that you make, and the same is true the other way around. So I'll show you that now. So that's a great call out, Lee. So clicking into the ticket, that's going to take me to the full list of ticket details. Okay. So I mentioned, that validation phase. So this is where we're making sure that all of those ticketed fields that are present on the physical ticket are on the e-ticket. And then scrolling down, there's our weight section. So in a case of like a ready mix load, right, or a batch, you're going to have a batch weight section where you can get those breakdowns of the various admixtures in the material. And then there's that reconciliation that's going to show you the pay codes. But there's below that are both the inspector and contractor review sections. So that's that portion to address what you brought up, Lee. So like if once you mark a ticket as delivered, so let's do this. Let me go back. I'm going to change my status to delivered so I can pay attention to those tickets that we marked together. I'll click back in and then go down to that review section. So notice here, it's going to let you know via that name, date, and timestamp who made that update. And then below that section is that contractor review section. So yes, if any updates that you guys make to a ticket is going to be visible by the contractor and their portal job slip and that inspector review section, within their application. And the same is true for you guys. Any notes, or if they mark a ticket as delivered, you'll be able to see that as well at the ticket level in that contractor review section. Does that help, Lee?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess the biggest concern for me is, typically when we do have these disputes with the contractor, it's usually face to face. So I guess the biggest thing for us moving forward is ensuring that the proper person has access as far as on the contractor side. That way that person has access. And if we do have a dispute, we can talk to them out on the field, and then maybe we can go from there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's it. It's a great call out. Yeah. And just so we're on the same page too. So the contractor in no way can they can't reject a load that lives in your portal exclusively. They can mark a ticket as delivered and they can add notes, but they can't there's no formal dispute process. So to your point, yes, you can communicate the notes at the ticket level within your portal, but still have that conversation for the reconciliation, face to face.
Yeah, I guess I'm just more concerned about, with these disputes. I don't want to dispute with somebody at the office. It should be somebody presently out on the field, right?
Yeah, no, you're spot on. Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
we definitely want to make sure that we have the contractors engaged. So if you guys have contact information for contractors who are going to be on your projects, please share it with us, because it's very easy to get their portal created and then get them access to it along with training as well, right? To make sure that they're set up also.
Thanks.
Welcome. Let's see, while we're here, I think that's it as far as the ticket itself. Yeah, we talked about marking it as delivered, rejected, the pay items, down the road, the status. Oh, reporting. Okay, so let's do this. So by default, you're going to be on the tickets tab, once you click into the project. We do have a separate section, you notice here, the clipboard reports tab. If I tap there, we have some handy insights available for you guys. So you can swipe to navigate through the various reports, or you can use the chip filter to select which one, to jump that way. This first one, delivery report, what this is communicating is the vehicle IDs on the column on the left, and then each of the gray clocks represents a load on that vehicle, and that's that pending status again. And then so as you guys are marking these tickets as delivered, these are going to transform into that green bubble with the check, and then any load marked as rejected. And I thought we did one. Let me go back and do one here. So you can see what that looks like too on the report. So back on that clipboard report. I don't know why it's not showing through. So it's going to be a red bubble with an exclamation mark. So this could serve as like, a good visualization of your to-do list, right? You can see which loads you've yet to interact with or update as you kind of navigate your day. Some additional insights, load time. So kind of like a similar report, but focused on those scale times from the ticket. And then if we scroll to the right, you can see the various rounds for each of those vehicles. And kind of a constant throughout the reports is that blue highlight. That's just going to show you like the latest update on that report. And you know what? We've actually done this recently is we've gone back. And if you ever have a question on what this report is trying to communicate, if you click this eye, it'll give you a description of what, the insight is trying to convey to you. And we've recently updated this as well. So you can give that a look as well. And then round trip. So when the question came up from the group, I want to make sure I give the proper shout out here. Francis, about your question about some trucking insights. So again, not GPS, but based on the scaled ticket data, here's some cycle time analysis in minutes. And then on the road, this is letting you know in quantity per round per vehicle, what's heading your way, across your projects. And again, you'll have this information in the palm of your hands well before the truck hits the site, because ideally it's going to be 3 to 5 minutes after that physical ticket was printed, so hopefully that helps. And then in transit, similar kind of insight, but in minutes. And then the last one I'll show you is quantity by material type. I think this one is handy because imagine day one of a project, you get a baseline understanding of the various products that are going to live on the project. And then as the days, click on, this will update with the count of tickets in the center and that ticketed quantity to the far right. I think that's it as far as tickets. Any questions before we go on to how you guys can ask for help if you're missing some ticket data? Okay, so backing up, well, actually, two different ways to do this. While we're still clicked into the project, if I scroll over to the right, you see we have that missing tickets quick access bubble. So if I tap there, it's going to take me to report a new outage. So anytime like you guys are, you're getting ticket information for the first couple of days, then all of a sudden the tickets stop arriving in your portal, you can let everyone know by way of this report. So I'll just click that button to get things started. Everything with an asterisk is a required field. So first, what type of issue are you reporting? So we'll say no tickets for today. The project we're on is automatically going to be selected because we use that missing ticket quick access bubble. Which supplier are your tickets from? So we'll select that supplier and the plant who's providing the material. Let's do ag. These next two are optional, but if you have them, please input them as well, because it definitely does help resolve the issue as quickly as possible. The reason being, name of the contractor, also known as customer name, is a huge driver for how we route the data to the various portals. And then the ticket number, we now have a way internally where we can search by ticket number just to verify that the information was sent to our system. So again, it definitely does help a lot. So we'll do this. Let's say everything's good. We'll hit submit request. where they have that success notification. And then once reported, they're going to hit two spots. So it's going to go to an internal Slack channel that we monitor on the Hull Hub side. And then also, more importantly, it's also going to hit the suppliers portal. So back to that supplier CI product that I mentioned. And they'll also have a way that they can chat back and forth with you guys. So if they need additional inputs, they can ask those questions and you can respond back in the same section within your portal. And then if you notice too, they can also update the status as they're working to resolve the issue. So of course, like once initially received, they can move it to acknowledged. As they're working on it, of course, work in progress. And then once it's all set, you guys are getting the data you need, they can move it to resolved. And this will stay present too. So you can always revisit these reports as the project continues, just as a reference. Any questions on that? Okay, let's click on. Another thing that came up during our last session as well was just, some people on the Big Island shared that, there could be cases where they're on a project and they don't have good cell coverage. So I just wanted to show you guys what offline mode looks like. So at the bottom center, you'll notice that green button there. If I tap there, it's going to take me to my managed ticket screen and it'll show me my status, which is currently online. So I'll turn off Wi-Fi. And now it's offline. And if I go back, you can also see too, that button's transformed to red. So if I click in, for the first time at least, it's going to let me know that I'm entering like the offline ticket mode. I'll hit continue. And this is designed to be like, super fast and easy. So for starters, we'll just make sure that we're on the appropriate project. So we'll use our test project. And then we just need the last 4 digits of that physical ticket to log that ticket information. And then by default, you notice that we've moved it to the delivered status, but you also have pending and rejected available. And then below that section, those are all the notes from that, from the online portion that we visited together. So you still have access to that too. So again, just last 4 digits of the physical ticket, you hit create ticket, same success notification. And then what we're doing here is we're using the last 4 digits that you provide here. And then once you're back into, good connection, we'll reference that with the information sent to us from the supplier system. And then once we have a match with those last 4 numbers, we'll then, push that data through to your portal. And then all of those updates that you've made here in this offline mode will then, assign themselves to that ticket. So the status and then also those notes. And I'll show you what that looks like too. Let me move myself back online. There we go. And then I can move to the pending section. So there's my log of everything in that pending status. So, trying to send itself through the system. Because what our system does is every 6 hours, it's automatically going to try to, look for a connection. If it notices one, it's going to push those tickets through in that pending status. But you do also have a way that you can get ahead of that. So if you want to do a manual data push, you can do so by way of this paper airplane looking icon at the bottom right. If I tap there, it'll give me that, sent successfully with the green. So now we can go over to our sent tickets tab. And there's another log letting you know, the count of tickets for the project and also a timestamp of what's been sent through via the offline mode. So yeah, just another option for you guys to utilize your portal in those cases where you may not be like in an ideal connection area. Any questions on that? Okay. See, one last thing I'll show you on mobile is where you can assign that signature. So back in the top left, that hamburger button, if I tap there and then go to account settings, and then I scroll down, I can set my signature just, using my finger on my touchscreen device. You can just draw it here. And then those clipboard reports, you can also customize that experience as well. So I can, toggle on or off any of those clipboard reports too. And that's pretty much it for mobile for now. If there's no questions or comments, we can go over to web. Does that sound good? So back on your web portal. So this is your portal on web. You guys, we know once you logged in, you'll be met with your My Projects tab. And we also have a test project available for you guys, so you can click around and get some experience, ahead of the go live date of November 1st. So please, just, you can, all of the functionality is still there, so you're not going to break anything, just click around and have some fun there. But I'll show you this. So back on the reporting question, so two different ways to kind of attach that, and I'll use the test project. So once you click in, you can view the tickets under this ticket performance overview section. We kind of automatically, bucket them per the status. So we'll use pending. And then so this area here we call our flex grid. The whole idea is just to allow you guys to be able to, filter the data in a variety of ways. What you're looking for is any of the columns with the 6 gray dots. Those are the ones that can be dragged and dropped into the area above to reorganize the info. So like if I wanted to first focus on, let's do product description. And then let's do supplier and then date. You notice every time I'm dragging a new column up there, it's refreshing itself. And then the number you're seeing in the parentheses is the number of tickets. So then as we drill down, right, here's my product description, the crushed concrete. Here's the name of the suppliers for that crushed concrete. And then the dates that I have those tickets. And then once I hit this section where I'm seeing these line items, those represent the ticket. And then it's just as easy as clicking into one of those lines. There's my raw ticket data. As I scroll down, there's none of the functionality has gone away, right? We still have the weights, the reconciliation portion, the inspector and contractor review sections. And then, so to your question, right, about, the getting the information via PDF, on web, you can download at both an individual, so here, and a few different file formats, and then also at a bulk level. So if I go back, and then let's get rid of these so I can select a bunch. So I'll click a few here, and notice how when I'm doing that, right, my toolbar down below is kind of lighting up. So I can download the slips again at a bulk level via CSV, PDF, and so on. And then I can also do so with other actions as well, right? I can mark a large count of tickets as delivered or rejected. All that's still present. And then you can also customize this experience as well. So if I go back here on the slider side, this slider button here, that's going to take me to my edit column section. So here's what's currently visible. Here's what's hidden. And then as I scroll down, you can see we have a large list of fields as an option. And then it's really just as easy as dragging and dropping something to the visible side. So let's see here. Let's do plant temp. We'll move, actually, let's do product. And then I can also customize the order that it lives in within my workspace. So I'll drag that up to the top so you can see that easily. And then once saved, there is the product that we just added. And so that's one of the ones where you can filter by as well, because it has those dots. And then you also have, in addition to your controls here over the date, you also have dedicated time and date range filters via those chip filters up top as another option too. The last thing I'll show you on web is another way to get that data out of your portal. Like that Melvin brought up. So by default, the delivery report is going to be selected. We'll just hit create report. And here's what I would strongly suggest everybody do is just, once you've logged into your portal on web, click into the projects you have access to and then opt into auto send. Because what we do by default every day at noon, and you can change this time if you'd like to, but every day at noon, we're going to email you an overview of the previous day's tickets for those projects. And then I also mentioned too, I think I did at least, that we can customize this. So if there's other fields that you would like added to make it even more beneficial, we can definitely work with you guys to do so. And that is via PDF. So just as a call out there as well, Melvin. So that's another PDF kind of way to download information or get information out of your portal for the tickets. And that's really it for both mobile and web. Any, I guess, any questions or comments before I pass it back to Josh in the group? Okay, so I've also gone through and have added the various groups from all of the islands to the test project. If you guys do not have access to the test project once you've logged in, please let us know, and then we'll make sure to get you added as well so you can start to click around. But yeah, if there's no other comments or anything, I can pass it back to you, Josh. Thank you guys very much for joining today. I hope it helped.